We are 1 in the morning, as usual, because Adam makes this show happen after midnight. Tell us about it. We're live.
Well, I didn't know you were going live right away. I gotta get some juice there.
Okay, well, I'll adjust the frame.
All right, you
Master classic frame master type shit. Listen, we have to do this show like at midnight or later because this man wakes up, and sometimes I'll come over and he'll say he's up, but he's not up. There's no lights on, and no one's up. And then there's no Arty Time. Tell us about that. That happened 2 days ago. I came to your house. Why weren't you up?
Why wasn't I up?
It was like midnight.
Because I had a meeting at 9 in the morning.
Okay, yeah, it's a daytime
normally, shit. Yeah, not daytime, like early morning shade. Normally I go to bed at 5 to 6 a.m. So having a meeting at work at 9 a.m., like usually that's right in the middle of my sleep. That's like, you know, for somebody who goes to bed at 10 a.m., that's like saying you have a meeting at 1 a.m. in the morning, or 10 p.m., you know. Somebody goes to bed at 10 p.m., that's like saying you have a meeting at 1 a.m. in the morning. It's going to fuck up their sleep cycle for a day. And after I worked 3 days standing on my feet, and then come back to work and have a meeting the next day at 9 a.m., like I was just getting back into having, okay, a nice sleep schedule, and then bam, can you show up at work at 9 a.m. the next day, Adam? We've got this new thing to do, and I need to train everybody all at once on it. And I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, that's
give
why.
some context for the people listening. They don't know that you spent all day, every day, at Ribfest.
Yeah, I think we did talk about it last time a little bit, but yeah, this past weekend.
So this is post Ribfest.
I had a 3-day event, and at like just
Ribfest?
Closer here, it was called Ribfest. Yeah. And basically, I had my booth set up there. Sorry, I just noticed that this is here with no painting on it, and it kind of distracted me because you pressed play before I was ready. I needed to get juice. I needed to put something on there. All right, just grab the closest piece of art and throw it on there. So anyway, yeah, Ribfest. It was great. It was great in some ways and really not great in other ways. Like Saturday, it was my first time I was ever at an outdoor event, and then I got flushed the fuck out by rain. Like
hurricane came.
I got rained out.
What was the name of
Dorian.
that hurricane? Dorian?
Oh,
yeah,
Dorian. It was like
came
leftovers.
Down
it was leftovers of Hurricane Dorian, and man, it was like
African dust everywhere.
It was ridiculous.
Or no one wanted to be outside. It was just
umbrella and all the vendors taking their tents down and trying to get the fuck out of there as fast as they could. And I was one of them. And man, there was like, it was terrible. It was like, it was not fun, okay? It was cold. Everyone was cranky, trying to get things done and get out of the place. You know, everyone leaving all at once. There's getting stuck, foot traffic getting to people's cars. It was just a chaotic, cold, wet scene. But thankfully, all my merch got wet. So I had
all of it?
Not all of it, but a lot of the clothing that was on my rack and stuff, because it kind of just went from like barely anything falling from the sky to like tropical downpour. Like I lived in Costa Rica for 5 years, and like rainy season in the tropics, this was pretty much the same thing. Just a downpour came out of nowhere, and it was hard for like 2 hours. Anyway, so I had to hang up a bunch of my merch to dry, but the next day was beautiful. My tent dried out quickly, and I ended up having a decent weekend money-wise. So made some sales, met some people you know, that had never been exposed to my art before. And now they've been exposed to my art. A bunch of people took my business card and said they were going to check out my website. And I think 1 or 2 people signed up to my email list that did meet me there. So, you know, slow and steady. Doing these events is a different way of getting out there than online. And I have another one this weekend, Buddha Bazaar in Montreal, which is should be fun. I'm really looking forward to like connect with some other spiritual vendors and like businesses in the area that I'm not necessarily connected with already. So it's guaranteed to be a good event.
It's always fun to do a table.
Yeah, it is. It is if you
3 days in a row.
It is
champion.
It is if you work it. It is if you stand there and do your sales. If you sit there and you don't take any of the advice that we've talked about on numerous episodes.
So what is the advice again?
What is the advice? You need to stand.
You were discouraged sometimes. I saw you sitting.
I was. This event wasn't as busy as other events I've been to. I got
a matter of insurance. 3 days.
Yeah, it was 3 days. 3 days standing on your feet for 12 hours a day, no matter who you are. That's a lot of standing on your feet and talking to people. And but whether you've been standing on your feet for 1 hour and it's the first day, or you've been standing on your feet for 11 hours and it's the third day, you still got to come at everyone who comes to your table with that enthusiasm, like it's the first time maybe they've seen your art and you want to tell your story with a smile on your face. And so that's important, is getting yourself into like that mode where your customer service face is on, and when people ask you how you're doing, you don't say, it rained all day yesterday and it was garbage and you should have seen it, and this asshole next to me, he took too long packing his tent up. That's not going to help you make sales. Like, if somebody asks you how you're doing, you got to say, great, I'm having a really nice time meeting a bunch of new people. What's your name? And like, now you have a conversation going, and then they'll tell you who they are and say something back to them and introduce yourself and say, I'm a local artist, and this is what I do, this, etc., etc.
And you don't talk about the weather?
Yeah, well, I mean, you can talk about the weather if it's something like that's positive, but I mean,
revolutionary. They're not talking about the weather.
Well, we have mentioned talking about the weather in other episodes. Like in this scenario, if you're at a springtime craft fair and it's like beautiful and everyone's cooped up inside all winter, then of course you could say, hey, aren't you enjoying this beautiful day? Come on over here and check out my art. I'm an artist. What's your name?
And what I've noticed too is that the weather is conducive to sales.
Yeah, definitely. It was a little bit cold. It was probably, I don't know in Fahrenheit. I'm Canadian. Sorry, we use these weird Celsius degrees. It was probably like, 12 degrees.
Well, people were wearing hoodies.
Everyone was in hoodies, jackets. People who weren't were cold. So,
you weren't getting their money.
Yeah, no one was,
like this.
The other event I did like this was in the springtime, and like a lot of people were drinking and having a good time, and like out in the sun and enjoying summer, nice weather.
It's probably the same temperature, but they're in shorts. It's a different like.
No, I definitely wasn't the same temperature. It was warm in June. Yeah.
Ah yes, Rib Fest, the other Rib Fest.
The other Rib Fest.
I joined you in that one. It was good. It was fun. Good old-fashioned community fun where you stand next to your tent and you just say hi to people that come by. That's literally the whole shtick. You say hi. And then they look at something and you go, about that.
Yeah. And having things in different price points is important too. I think it's important to have things in the like $5, $10, $20 price range.
Oh, I've seen you do that to people too this weekend, where you're like, oh yeah, those pens, they're $5. You can support me. And then he goes off to another person, and that person comes back later with $5 and converts.
Pens, I'm telling you.
Because they actually do feel like he is the person to support, and they come back with $5. I don't know what that woman did. If she went and got it out of her purse somewhere.
I don't remember which woman you're talking to. But after 3, you were there for like 45 minutes. I was there for like 3 days. So I don't remember every single woman that came to my
I sold some pens. I sold some pens.
Oh yeah, you sold some of my pens while I went to the washroom or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Sold some pens.
Yeah, I gave you a little
those
too.
Yeah. There's black, there's blue. That's right. I'll buy the blue. Alright, great.
No, pen I strongly recommend it. If your art even remotely looks good on a pen, put it on a pen. Everybody loves the pens. Because they're easy. People use them. They pick them up. They write with them.
Bro, when I fill out my forms to ship, I use your pen. And if I pick up another pen, I'm like, what is this pen?
It's garbage. My pens are nice. My pens are good.
I just use your pens to fill out the forms.
I literally had one guy who
filled out perfectly with a small amount of ink.
I had this guy, Roy. He was 91. He came by my table. And you remember Roy, eh? Roy came by my table and he bought 2 of my black ink pens. And he came back the next day and he said, Adam, these are such good pens that I want 2 of the blue ones too. And he bought 2 more pens. 2 days in a row, same guy, pens. That's all he bought from me was pens. But my pens have a great profit margin. And listen, people remember me as the pen guy, and then like they tell their friends, go see Adam and buy pens. People buy 5 pens at a time from me. It's amazing. I literally sell like hundreds and hundreds of pens. I've gone through 700 pens so far. And people remember me for that. And it brings them back to my table to look at other things. And then when it's like maybe at Ribfest they're buying pens. But then at the arts and crafts show that I'm going to do closer to Christmas, they're going to come buy something more expensive for Christmas. You know, they're going to buy a sweater. They're going to buy maybe an original painting. They're going to buy maybe...
Of course, you're like, look at this guy. He makes the best pens. Mm-hmm. What don't you understand right now?
Exactly. But they know I make more than pens. And
you make good pens, though.
The pens are good, yes. They are. And I don't even sell them online. And I've sold 700 of them. I don't sell them online because they're just too expensive. They're just too expensive to ship. You know, I end up charging people like $3 a pen to ship them on top of like $3 a pen. You know, so it just wouldn't work.
I think I've personally seen you sell more pens than anything else.
Yeah, no,
I've seen countless times. I've seen you sell pens. And I sold your pens.
Mm-hmm.
Clean up on that pen. Everyone uses pens.
Now the trick to selling pens is having a little scratch pad that says, please try a pen. And then you can point at it. And once somebody has it in their hand and they've tried the pen, it's very unlikely that they're going to put it back without buying one. Sometimes they do, but most often, once they have the pen in their hand, they buy a pen.
Yeah, but I didn't use that technique.
Mm-hmm. But you only sold 2 pens.
I was just there for 5 seconds.
Yeah, I know, and these pens sell themselves because I had the scratch pad in front of the pen.
You did not use it. You did not use it. I gave the whole, there's a black and a blue one.
Awesome.
And he was like, cool. Oh, no, I think I sold him in the sense that, like, I felt his budget. He's going nowhere. Oh, is that it? Is that it? If you support us, there's just these pens. And I was like, and then his girlfriend was like, nudged him a bit, and he's like,
yeah, okay, cool.
He gave the whole, yeah.
It was one of those whole, like, the guilt speech. The guilt.
Got him in societal.
That happens sometimes. That'll happen
to your girlfriend. Come on.
That'll happen too, because sometimes I'll talk to somebody and they'll spend like 5 minutes listening to what I'm talking about, my art and my story, and how art helps me stay sober from, you know, the alcohol and whatever. And it's like, you know, they get inspired by it. And then they're kind of like in a rush maybe, or like, you know, they're just came to see what was happening and they don't have anything to carry anything, or like they might not really like my art that much, but they like the fact, like the interaction we just had. And pretty often people may leave me a donation. You know, they'll give me $5. They'll give me $2. One guy gave me $30 this week. He was somebody who was looking at buying something, and he was also had another booth there.
It's like magic. Like all these things happened when I was there. Everything you're talking about, I was there.
He had another booth there, and
like, go get that guy.
Yeah, so
go get that guy. You tell him right now.
So anyway, he decided he changed his mind about buying something, but he's like, look, I want to show I'm a supporter of your arts and the arts. So like,
we shook him down.
He donated me $30. So
we shook him
down. Like I'm not gonna say no to that. You know, it's awesome to know that somebody wants to support what I'm doing. And if they don't want anything in return, then that's okay. You know,
that's just a shake.
Artists have had patrons for hundreds of years. You know, that's.
And he's a politician, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
Is he live or he's running to be?
No, he's the election run started today in Canada. I think, like officially.
They're off and running.
Yeah. So
vote for me. I'll kiss your babies. And is he already a politician, or he's trying to be?
He's already a politician.
Okay, he's running
defend. In this election now.
He's defending his title.
He's not defending his title. He's trying to win the title away from whoever has it now.
So he's not okay. This is his go at it.
Well, one of his goes. I don't know, man. I haven't followed the guy's career for a long time. I know what he's doing in this election a little bit because we spoke for a few minutes, but you know, like he would have kissed my baby, I'm sure, if I had one. Instead, he donated $30 to my art career.
That's a bit better
than kissing a baby that I don't have. Yeah, it's a lot better than kissing a baby I don't have.
That's a lot better.
If he came up to me and told me he kissed my baby, I would have been like, holy fuck, what the hell are you talking about?
So where's my 30 bucks?
I don't have a baby, so it would have been a little weird. So this way, it was a little less weird. He just donated $30 and there was no invisible baby involved. So it worked for all of us, I guess.
That was a magic moment.
Mm-hmm. And there's always those magic moments, and I gotta be honest. I mean, it's sometimes it's slow. Sometimes like there's slow periods where people might not buy things for 2 or 3 hours from you.
Oh, I believe that's the cosmos, bro. At some point, there's like some sort of wave that.
At some point, there's a wave where it just like everyone's buying things, or people will buy one really expensive thing from you, which happened to me. I was selling pens and not much else for most of the weekend, and then a couple of people came and bought my hoodies and my jackets. So, those few people that bought my hoodies and jackets over the weekend ended up making a big difference because when somebody spends $60 on something at a time, it adds up a lot faster than when somebody's spending $2 or $3 or $5 at a time. But a lot of times those people that spend $2 or $3 or $5, they will never spend $60 on anything from you. So having those $2 or $3 or $5 items gets them to you at least do end up making something off them. And a lot of times, like the people that buy my pens, like a lot of times people give my pens to their friends and stuff like that. They'll buy 5 of them and give them to their sister and their brother, and then they'll bring them that person by the table and be like, hey, this is the guy that has the nice pens. And then that person that they introduced to my thing will be like, oh, but he has all these other nice things too. How much are your t-shirts? And then I sell a t-shirt to the guy that likes my nice pens. So like,
you're the pen guy.
That's what the whole thing is.
Yeah, you're just writing the path, leading them right back to you. The pen guy. Mm-hmm. No, I was blown away by first of all the amount of pens you've had and the amount of pens that you've sold, and I've seen it. Mm-hmm. I've seen the magic.
And I've been telling you to put your stuff on pens for a long time.
Yeah, but I feel like everyone's gonna find their own pen. You know what I mean? Like everyone's gonna find their own thing where it's just like you have that thing and it sells and it's easy for you to produce.
Let's make some blind Mickey pens.
I mean, I'm down, but I feel like there's other things that we could.
There's always other things. That's the thing. So do the things, make the money, the easy thing that everybody likes. Make that easy money with the pens, and use other things. We're artists. We can always do other things. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing that we know works. You've just admitted you've seen the magic on how it works. Like, we have the design that we collaborated on, so we could collaborate on making the pens happen there, and see what happens with them. That way, when you do events or whatever, or when you sell your t-shirts, be like, hey, want a couple of Mickey pens for another $5? A lot of people are going to dig into their pocket and grab that $5.
No, I feel you. And that's probably a good design for it, too. A Mickey pen.
It's a great design.
No, you got me. Off air, we will definitely do something about that. Mm-hmm. You think it's 50% off?
No, but it probably will be sometime soon. Halloween stuff is coming up. Like, before the holidays, for sure, they're going to have some mad sales. But we should wait for the 50%.
Did Kobe win?
Yes.
Kobe! If you're listening, I'm holding your winning ticket right here. What did you win?
You won the 10-inch painting that I did at Cosm. Remember I had the picture of Alex Gray with it? It was there like 3 months ago. I think it was 3 months ago.
He won it outright?
No, he won a custom one that I ended up creating for him, and he asked me to paint it at Cosm.
Oh, you wanted that energy in it.
I painted part of it at Cosm, and I got a picture of Alex Gray and me holding it.
Provenance.
Yes. And,
what?
He was pretty stoked about that, so I was pretty stoked about that. I was pretty stoked that Alex would do it, so I'm not so sure Allison would have been as gung-ho about it.
About him taking the picture?
No, well, I asked Rosie. Rosie's the runs the mandala workshops, and I said like, hey, do you think maybe they'd mind if I asked them to take a quick picture with the painting? My client asked me to work on it. He's a big fan of Cosm and Alex and everything. He's like, I don't know. It's not their own art. Like, I don't know if they would do that or not. Like, she didn't say no, and it's not her speaking on behalf of them anyway. Just she's good friends with them, and I didn't want to offend them or that would bother them.
Mhm.
So, and he knew I was working on this painting at Cosm, and I figured it would be super cool if I could get a picture of me and you with the painting that I'm working on for my client. And Alex goes, and made an awesome face and pointed at it, and like, he's like, yeah, like, didn't even think twice about it. So I was all worried about nothing, I guess. But anyway, Alex is a little more serious and a little more, you know. If there's gonna be like any kind of
this is a recording, sir.
Sponsorship going on, it's like it's usually preferred that it's spoken about and agreed upon ahead of time. Let's put it that way.
You put it very well. And sometimes that's part of business.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of business. That's probably why when I met them, I feel like Alex can let go a bit more because there is a character behind the scenes that's making it more.
I think that's also why they're able to do what they've done.
Yeah, they've done
because they're a perfect team. Like they complement each other in such amazing ways. Where look what they've done. You know, neither of them could have done that on their own. I don't think. I think if you're building like a temple like that, like a castle, it takes a king needs a queen, and you know, in that case, they're the perfect visionary art kings and queens. You know, so many people in this.
I mean, there's like
look up to them and
they
for
literally
reason.
have like employees there, right?
Yes, of course.
On their compound. Oh my god.
Of course.
I'm washing the bathrooms?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh my god, can you imagine? You're such a profound artist that the people are washing your bathrooms and some of them are interns. I don't even know your name.
I forgot you've never been to Cosmo.
Why haven't you washed my bathroom?
If you're watching our podcast and you're not aware of who Alex and Allison Gray are,
Google it. They have interns washing their bathrooms.
What Cosm is. Cosm is Chapel of the Sacred Mirrors. It's a really amazing place. Basically, it's where they showcase their art, and they also run all kinds of workshops there that have to do with art and sustainable living and music and the gardening, things like that. It's a really inspiring place. A lot of people from all over the world, known in like Graham Hancock and the band Tool and you know, the Dennis McKenna, people in the psychedelic research scene, all kinds of people go there, and it's just it's full of positive energy, and it's an inspiration for me. We've spoken about it. Remember at the episode where we were at Chris Dyer's, and we mentioned that like building a temple with our art is like one of our goals that we all have or had anyway. It's still definitely one of my goals, and a big like something to look up towards like emulating is what they've done. So it's you know, it's all part and parcel of what I really want to accomplish with my art is just a place where people can gather and feel safe and feel like they can discuss weird things like you know, like at Cosm it's pretty obvious that people that are there, their guard is down, and they just because of where they are and what's going on, a lot of like they just feel comfortable talking about weird experiences that you're pretty sure if you ran into this person at the bus stop, they wouldn't be having this conversation with you. But if you ran into them at the cafeteria at Cosm and they're talking about you know, the afterlife and spirituality and sacred geometry and aliens and psychedelics and stuff like that, like it's an awesome place.
I'm trying to have a coffee here, bud. Geometric shapes. No, I'm into it. I gotta check it out one time. I'm just gonna make jokes about it, but I'm definitely into it.
We should go sometime. I mean, from a perspective of having a viewpoint of what one of like a very successful artist can accomplish.
Of course, that's why I'm making jokes about the whole slave thing with the cleaning the bathrooms. That's unreal.
Well, I mean, they're so popular that they attract a lot of volunteers even. Every time I've gone there, they have quite a few volunteers on staff, people who work in the kitchen and, you know, wash the dishes and stuff like that. And they genuinely want to be there. They want to experience all the cool people who come through there. Because when you're a volunteer, you know, you often get, you know, access to some of the events and stuff. If you're not working at that specific event, you know, you just get to meet all the cool people who come through there and be part of that whole environment for a while. And so yeah, they have staff, but like a lot of the coolest people I've gotten to interact with their like regularly, other than people who were in the same workshops as me, were like the volunteer staff members.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because they're the people that are, you know, washing your dishes and coming out for a smoke after, and like actually saying hi to people, and like, you know, because the quote unquote real staff members, they're kind of busy doing office stuff or in the print shop over, like they're not necessarily interacting as much with as you as a volunteer kitchen staff is, because you're eating 3 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
And they're picking up your dishes 3 times a day, so you say hi to them and like, makes sense, right?
It's amazing what kind of level of success they have.
Mm-hmm.
That this whole compound is there and multiple people are there, and to an outside person it seems like a cult.
It's also amazing how they have that level of success, but outside of their fan base, if you say Alex Gray, most people will never have heard of him.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember the first time I went there and I got off the train station, you know, it's about 25 minutes taxi ride from where their actual spot is. And, you know, I asked the taxi driver to take me to Cosm, and he had no idea what Cosm was. I thought there would be like signs when you get off the train, like, oh, Cosm over here, like pamphlets, you know, nothing. You know, they didn't know what it was. And I guess, you know, that's pretty much the case with any artist or musician.
Have you ever heard of 1,000 true fans?
I've heard of that concept, yeah.
That all you need is 1,000 true fans?
Mm-hmm. You want to elaborate on that concept?
Really, that's pretty much it. If you have 1,000 true fans, you make it.
Mm-hmm.
In anything. And that's why no one knows about Alex Gray, because he has more than 1,000 true fans, but the cab driver doesn't need to know.
Mm-hmm.
The mayor doesn't even need to know. And it gets to that point where it's like not a lot of people know, but since the world is so interconnected now, they still achieve a level of success that you've never even heard of.
And I think that's something big in the art world, especially, is niches. Like every artist has their niche, you know, so whether you're a graffiti artist or a mandala artist, like a spiritual type of art that you make, or visionary art, or whether you're doing pop art, or whether you're doing landscapes or portraits, or, you know, whatever else, if you're doing sculptures, whatever it is, there's a niche group of people who are interested in that type of art. Like there are a niche group of people who are interested in death metal, and there are a group of people who are interested in country music, and there are people who are interested in techno and whatever else kinds of music, and sometimes they'll overlap with each other, but sometimes they won't. Sometimes there are people who are like very one-tracked when it comes to the art they consume, and that's cool too. If you find those people who are, your art is the one art they consume, that's your true fan, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's awesome, you know. There's definitely a few people that collect my art. I know they also collect other artists' work, and, you know, objet d'art, like ceramic, whatever. They don't just collect paintings and stuff, but they have bought many times from me, and they do, you know, keep in touch with me, and that's a blessing, because that's what artists need to survive for their careers to survive long term, is to have patrons who are repeat customers. And we've spoken about it before, that like 80-20 rule. 80% of your sales will come from 20% of your customers, and I think that's really true in the art world. In my case, it has been anyway.
You sending me money today.
Mm-hmm.
That's true for me.
Yeah. No, he didn't want to host Arty Time anymore. He was like, oh, fuck you. So I paid him to host Arty Time.
And now I get paid every time to show up here, put on my best performance.
No, I'm joking.
You did an alright job. You rate me in the comments.
Yeah.
Could do better.
Yeah.
Could do better. I've seen better in episode 12.
Yeah, I mean...
Episode 12 wasn't 1 a.m. Much better.
Yeah, I'm honestly a little tired tonight, so I'm sorry if we're not giving it like the hoo-ha regular spunk.
I don't know if they ever knew that it's always at in the midnight. Well, I guess it's live.
Anyone who's watching it live knows what time it is.
If you're watching it live, you know exactly what's happening. If not, this is a real situation. We do this in the witching hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Deep in the witching hours.
Usually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we should do an afternoon episode sometime on the weekend, or like from a vending event. We should do one time. No, next time we have an event where we're both there, and we have Wi-Fi.
But last time the wind was so bad. I thought about it when we were at
Rimfest.
No, wind was so bad.
Well, it's winter coming up. Well, probably the next time we're both at an event, it'll be indoors.
We need like lapel mics and not live.
Or those.
We can do it, but we need lapel mics and not
microphones with the little puff ball that blocks all the wind.
Oh yeah, that plugs to a phone. That would work.
Yeah, we could figure that out. I'm
yeah,
sure.
we just need it close to us. Because you have this wide shot, but you don't want the wind hitting this wide shot. That's the all into it, and we have to pass it around.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about selling things under bed. I'm asking you.
Well, I think it would be cool because we could literally sell things live.
Yeah, we could harass people live.
Live, exactly.
Yeah, it would be amazing.
Yeah, and we could get people's reactions. I think it would be pretty interesting. Episode.
I think it would draw a lot of.
There's so many other podcasts out there that are about technique of how to paint or how to draw. If we actually showed like, fuck live painting, let's show some live selling. I think that would be a really cool episode of Arty Time.
Art selling, yeah.
Yeah. Live art and or pen
replays
selling.
On some like close calls. Oh,
yeah.
Close call.
I think it would be pretty cool. I think it would be
closes.
A really good episode. Yeah. We could add some color commentary after.
Oh, I mean, I should have just recorded the sales that I saw when I was there.
Mm-hmm.
That guy with the $30.
Mm-hmm. The guilt sale. The guilt donation, not even a sale.
Okay, we should bring in context this. He came the day before. He talked some shit. Tell me about it.
Well, he was very interested in buying something from me, and then he changed his mind. In the end, it worked out.
Hold on, the first day he didn't change his mind. The first day he just got away with saying that.
The second day, I got rained out, so we didn't get to close the deal. But the third day, he came and he said he changed his mind. And honestly, at the end of the day, I got to keep my merch, and I made $30 for doing nothing. So I'm okay with that.
You're rushing the whole scenario. He was hovering on day 3 and staying away from your table. And you had to go in for the kill.
Yeah,
and he left the table. And
that
went
is
for the kill.
Yeah. See, I'm sorry, man. I had so many people that I interacted with. Like, I'm not sure what you're driving at trying to get me to say. So now I know what you're trying to get me to say. Yes, I had to go chase him down.
Yeah,
I had to run after him and be like, hey, so are you still interested in that thing? And then he came back and he's like, oh, you know what? I think I changed my mind about it. Like, but I'd like to make a donation. So that's cool.
Knockout. It was such a good move.
Mm-hmm.
So basically he came and he talked some smack the first day and said, oh, I'm really interested in this. If you potentially bring this the next day. And he made you bring the painting the next day. He had all this shit where you brought the painting the next day thinking there was going to be a sale. Yes, again, it turned out that day.
Oh, yeah.
The next
I forgot about that. I forgot about that.
He made you bring a painting.
See, because like all those were like things that were annoying and negative, and I just put all of that in my mind and like, yeah, I had a good weekend. I made some money.
No, because when I showed up the next day, you're like, there's that guy. Mm-hmm. He told me to bring the painting. Mm-hmm. And you had eyeball him and he's not coming close to the table. And I was like, go get him. Yeah, so sometimes in these situations, if the person said anything that's close to it, you should bring up the conversation again to them. Don't be shy.
Yeah,
There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. You're there at a table.
If you're at an event and somebody on the first, like it's a multiple day event, or they come in the morning and they're like, I'll be back this afternoon, I'm interested in this, and they come back this afternoon and they walk by your table without making eye contact, say, hey, remember this? You still interested? Sometimes they'll turn into sales and they'll be like, oh yeah, I forgot. Thanks for yelling my name, or whatever.
Oh, you could convert. It's
mm-hmm.
It's
and
a good
sometimes
move. It's a bold move.
Sometimes they literally did forget. Sometimes
oh yeah, sure.
No, I've worked sales long enough to know that sometimes people genuinely forget, and I've done it to people many times myself. Where I like genuinely want to support somebody, but I'm fucking hungry and I'm going to get my lunch, and I'll be like, I'll come back on my way from after I'm done eating. and I forget. I eat and get a phone call, and like I'm doing other things. I go somewhere else. I don't walk by their table again, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I've done that. I know people have done that to me for sure, where they genuinely wanted to support me and literally just forgot about it because like they've got a million other things going on. They're at a big event with like 50 tents and food and friends that they haven't seen in high school. Like,
nothing wrong with that.
so, I don't know. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, but again, like you said, chase them down and be like, hey, you still interested in that thing that you were so interested in? Because I still have that thing waiting for you. I kept it aside for you because I know you were so interested in it. So, like,
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. In person, it's a lot funner. You have to take our word for it. It's a lot funner when you have a table. There's no shame. You're there with your table.
Mm-hmm.
It's all fair game.
Yeah, exactly. No,
and you're standing in this confines of this fucking carnival.
Yeah, wherever it is, if it's a Buddha Bazaar or if it's a Rib Fest, you're still got to be behind your table, standing there and talking to people, making the first move. The first move is so important because if you don't make the first move, people are not going to make the first move most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like waiting for the guy who's interested to walk by and open his mouth and start talking to you and ask how much stuff is, like you'll make 10% of the sales as if you open your mouth and say hi to everyone that walks by your table. That's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm. There's only 10% of people that are really like that come up and start talking and fucking.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even care if you're there. Even if you weren't there, they'd be touching things and talking.
Yeah, whoever's table it was, if it wasn't you, they'd be doing the same thing to that other person.
But the majority of people look, and then if you don't say anything,
they assume that you're not really selling. They don't know. That's the thing. Is there's no clear message.
Yeah, they look. They look though. They go like this.
They don't
even. Nothing happens, and then they'll go like this.
Yeah, they'll keep walking. They don't. They might not even know if you're the person selling the stuff at the table. They might.
Sometimes all you get is a flash.
Yeah,
and that's your moment.
Like if they don't know who you are and if they've never seen your table before, then they don't know that your face goes with that table. You could be that. You could be one of the event organizers watching the dude's table while he's taking a leak, and when like they just don't know. They don't know.
That was me. I had
Thankfully, he's watched me sell enough, and my pens sell themselves because they're good pens. So like, he didn't have to work very hard.
My whole pitch was like, look at this. He paints this. Can you believe this? And then he puts it on this. Can you believe this?
And that's pretty much my pitch too.
And then it was basically, and I'm not even him. He's taking a piss. Can you believe this? That was the whole stick on everyone. It worked out pretty good. Sold some pens.
But that's why it's important to say hi first, because people don't know. People, it just makes sense. It's like,
It was an easy shtick for me. Like, I'm not even trying to sell anything because the guy's in the bathroom shtick.
Mm-hmm.
And they loved it.
Mm-hmm.
They ate it right up because there's no pressure. They're like, oh, okay,
Awesome. Well, I'm stoked because it was a nice little feeling to come back from taking a leak and be like, hey, I sold some pens and you put money in my hand, and I'm like, awesome. And then I put money back in your hand.
You gave me more.
Your big commission.
What's funny is you laughed and said you wouldn't give me 50%, and you ended up giving me.
No, I gave you 33%.
I think you gave me the toonie.
Did I?
You gave me the toonie, and you kept the loony.
Then I lost money on that sale.
I give you 150%.
All right, whatever. It's all good.
And it's funny because you were like, and I'm like, we'll talk about it later. And then it worked out totally in my favor. But I'm forever in debt to you because I got to make a sale at Ribfest, and it was a thrill, let me tell you.
Mm-hmm. Next year you got to be there.
Anytime you make a sale, it's a thrill on the floor.
Mm-hmm. No, it really is. I mean, it's super motivating, and that's what keeps me doing it. That's why I'm really looking forward to this weekend. And this weekend is nice because the event's just a little bit shorter. 1
day.
No, it's 2 days instead of 3, but it also ends at like 6 p.m. instead of like 8 p.m. So when you're on your feet all day, those extra couple hours at the end of the day, it's like starting to get tough to stay on your feet. You're getting hungry. Maybe you're cranky a bit. Like,
it's a marathon.
Yeah, it gets to be a marathon. It really does. And it's what if you have a job after to go to on Monday and not having a day to relax in between. It's like you got to take your time and relax, like I did yesterday. Instead of have the lights on for Arty Time, I was passed out for 6 or 7 hours after work yesterday. I just I needed it. I needed the sleep. So yeah, I actually how long have we been going on here?
40 minutes.
40 minutes, eh? All right. Because I'll be honest, I don't have a lot more to talk about right now.
This is a short Arty time?
Yeah, I think we're going to cut it a little short tonight.
But dude, how are we ever going to make it to 10,000 hours?
Because we're going to round up from a half an hour. And so this episode is going to, be an hour. But plus, we've had tons of episodes that are like an hour and 20 minutes anyway. I'm not going to feel guilty for cutting one episode short.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode 22. We're calling it
episode 22.
Short.
Short and sweet. There we go. Short and sweet. Sweet. Speaking of sweet, I didn't do this at Ribfest, but I should have. And it's that time of year. Halloween candy is on the shelves. Buy some Halloween candy. Put some candy on your table when you're at vending events and give people free candy. It costs nothing for candy. It costs what? Like for $15-$20 at this time of year, you can get a mountain of freaking little candies that you can give away people for free. And it's awesome because it lets you be like if anybody's hemming and hawing about it, you can be like, well, what if I give you a little candy to sweeten the deal? And I've literally made sales with that line. Literally, many times. One lady bought an original painting off of me last year at Centennial's Craft Fair because of that line. She was looking at the painting, and it was one of those ones where she came by my table twice, like we were just talking about. She came by my table in the morning, and she looked at it, and I saw her walking by again, and I'm like, I think she had said to me, if it's still here when I come by this afternoon, then I know it's meant for me, type of thing. And she walked by, and I'm like, well, I guess it's meant for you. And she was looking at it and thinking about the price. And she's like, I wasn't planning on spending that much money today. It's just a little craft fair. And I'm like, well, what if I throw in some chocolate and sweeten the deal? And she laughed, and she's like, oh, all right, you got me. So, it's that time of year. It's Halloween. Grab that cheap candy. Make people happy. It's also just a positive association, psychologically, that people have in their head. Who doesn't want free candy? Me, because I'm on keto diet. But other than that, almost everyone loves free candy. So
you can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong. Even if people take candy and just go, oh, thanks, and then walk away, doesn't matter. They're going to maybe remember you as the next time as, hey, that's the guy that has the free candy. And maybe after 2 or 3 times, they're actually going to stop and look.
Though. People don't necessarily do that.
They do sometimes. It's rare, though. Out of the people that take candy, probably 7 out of 10 will stop and look at my table, at the very least. And probably 3 or 4 out of 10 of them will buy something small. Whereas, if you don't give out the candy, it also gives people a chance to stand there a little longer if they're unwrapping a candy and you have a little garbage for them and put empty wrappers in to show them people eat candy here. So they'll be enticed to stand at your table a little longer while they unwrap the candy because they see other people have unwrapped the candy. It's like a tip jar. If you have a tip jar and there's no tips in it, people are not going to leave a tip. They're much less likely to leave a tip. If you throw some coins in a tip jar, more people are going to throw coins in because they figure other people have already left tips. So it's not weird to be the first person to leave a tip. So I know that from a lot of friends who have worked in little restaurants where there's a tip jar next to the cash. If there's no money in it, nobody leaves tips. If you take $1.15 out of your pocket and throw it in there, whoa, look, all of a sudden everyone's leaving you their change in there. Whoa, look at that. Monkey see, monkey do. So that's how art works. That's how selling art works, is monkey see, monkey do. That's why my pens sell, because monkeys see monkeys buying my pens, and then they come buy more. And they're good pens. So they work. So like you know,
And it's also something that people use a lot.
yeah, it is.
So they make us association. I use pens.
It's also something people lose a lot. So people might
You
buy
always
my
want to
pens.
buy more because you're
Yeah.
losing them.
Yeah, people might leave them on a bus, leave them wherever. Who knows? People leave pens all over the place. I've left pens on trains and planes when I'm filling in those stupid, whatever forms for crossing customs and everything, declaring that I don't have any fruits or vegetables or I haven't visited a farm, those kind of things. So yeah, I've left pens on trains, planes, automobiles. It's a good movie. So yeah, I guess we're about done here.
You have any cheese in the fridge?
I probably do.
Let us enjoy some cheese, sir.
Sounds good.
And we'll bid these people adieu.
Yeah. Sorry we don't have any virtual candy to throw you, but yeah. Happy Halloween.